It is now 7:31 p.m. on June 3rd, 2025, and I'm officially opening the meeting of the Boxborough Zoning Board of Appeals. I'm going to do a roll call vote to establish who's here at the meeting. When I call your name, please acknowledge. Michael Toops.
Michael Toops, present.
Sean McCormick.
McCormick, present.
Dan Stuntz.
Stuntz, present.
Mark White.
White, present.
Okay. All right. And let's see. The first item on the agenda is the minutes of April 29th, 2025. Alec, could you put it up on the screen for us?
Absolutely.
So does anybody have any corrections to the minutes? I have one, but I got to pull it up because I've forgotten what it is. I'm sifting through my files here. Does anyone else have any? Okay, hearing none. Mine's just a spelling error. Let's see here. I think it was line 74. It was line 74, issued to allow for alternations to the building. So that's alterations. Does anybody else have any corrections? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Move to accept the minutes as amended, Michael Toops.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved by Michael Toops, seconded by Sean McCormick. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Sean?
McCormick, aye.
Dan?
Stuntz, aye.
Michael?
Michael Toops, aye.
Mark?
White, aye.
And Mark Barbadoro, aye. Okay. Okie dokie. So, there's no time other than the opening of the meeting, right, for this public hearing? Alec?
Oh,
You're on mute, Alan.
7:35 p.m.
Oh, okay. So we've got one more minute. Let's see here.
By my clock, it is officially 7:35.
Awesome. All right. So, in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Boxborough Zoning Bylaw, Section 4.1.3D, Business Industrial Uses, 2.2 Board of Appeals, and 2.3 Special Permits, the Boxborough Zoning Board of Appeals will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025 at 7:35 p.m. to review the application for a special permit submitted by Goldsmith Preston Ringwald, Inc. on behalf of the applicant BXB 109 LLC. The property located in Business District is owned by Brett, and apologize, Brett, if I butcher your last name, Gutheel. The applicant seeks to construct an 8-unit contractor storage building and associated site improvements. Okay, is there someone here representing the applicant?
Yes. Mark, hold on a second. I have to recuse myself from this meeting because I am an abutter to the property.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Mark. So in that case, I will nominate, or rather appoint, Than as our associate member to sit in your stead. Okay. Okay, Mr. Limhout, could you present
Yes.
for us?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can everybody hear me okay? Perfect. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Limhout. I'm an engineer at Goldsmith Preston Ringwall, GPR for short. And as Mr. Chair has introduced the project, we're here tonight as a representative for BHG 109 LLC. The applicant is looking to construct an indoor 8-unit contractor storage facility with associated site improvements to support small business operations under the business zoning district, which would be considered as building trade. Therefore, we're here tonight seeking a special permit application under section 4.1.3 D of the Boxborough zoning bylaw. As part of the application procedure, we met with some of the town staff earlier this year, back in February 11. I believe we spoke with Alex Wade, the town planner, as well as some personnel from the Boxborough Fire and Police Department, as well as the building commissioner to review the other content of the application. So if it's all right with everyone, I just want to quickly do a screen share. So I can just kind of point out the general area that we're looking at in terms of where the site is. Let me see if I have that ability. Alrighty, can everybody see the screen?
Just about. Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So the project is located under 975 Mass Ave, which is this chunk of land that you see right about here. Located on the east of the property, you have, the Boxborough DPW, as well as 881 Mass Ave, which is a property that the current landowner also owns next door, that operates as a similar commercial property use. Across the street, you have a small subdivision with several residential dwellings. And just a little bit west of that, you have Sarah's Way, which seems to be a mix of residential / commercial use. I can see there's a gun shop here, there's an architectural firm right there, as well as what appears to be a contractor's yard, leading up to more residential dwelling up the road. A little bit further down, similarly contractor's yard, some sort of a landscaping use, I'm sure. And, more mixed residential / commercial use, more or less. Abutting north of the property, we have a big chunk of conservation land, which I believe is a existing conservation trail that runs through right about here and then just loops back up. And just west of the property, there's an existing residential dwelling that sits a little bit hard to see. Let me see if I can switch to this one. That sits right about here. Getting there with a long driveway. And of course, there's a commercial property next to that. So within this corridor along Mass Ave, you have a general mix of commercial, a little bit of residential kind of scattered in along this corridor. So what we're proposing to do is to construct let's see here. What we're looking to do is to construct the commercial property, basically right at the center of the site. Let's see if I can click to activate. There we go. So I'll just quickly go through the existing conditions plan real quick. So this is the property in question. All along the front here, we have, of course, frontage along Mass Ave. It's a long frontage, but as you can see, there's a strip a bordering vegetated wetland that runs kind of parallel to the road all along the front here. And there's also an existing drainage channel, which we just confirmed that it's actually more of an intermittent stream. Therefore, we're required to do stream crossing for the access itself. But I'll get a little bit more into that a little bit later on. Over here on the right-hand side, or
May I interrupt you before we go further? On the frontage, there appears to be, is that a drainage culvert down there?
yes,
And where does the water outlet under Mass Ave?
so we believe that there is an existing culvert that runs from the existing catch basin that sits at the corner of Sarah's Way and Mass that dumps out onto the site.
So that collects water from Sarah's Way and outlets to the seasonal stream.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Sorry about that.
No
Feel
problem.
free to continue.
And just FYI, not really that important of an information, but we did find this culvert. It's just a hole in the stone wall, basically, and it's basically been clogged up for quite some time now. We were able to find it after digging around and removing probably about a foot of dirt before getting to it. But it is there.
Okay. Thank you.
So on the east of the property, you have a large network of vernal pool located right here. Let me see if I can show that. You can kind of see the outline of it on the aerial there. And again, conservation land north and the abutting residential property on the west side. And I believe under the FEMA map, you can find that, there is a large network of floodplain area, 100-year floodplain. As soon as you get off the property line here, that's where the floodplain starts. So that being said, the building that we're proposing will have a driveway access coming off of Mass Ave. The general location of where the driveway is coming in is the location that we felt that, it created the least amount of disturbance to the wetland as well as the buffer associated with it, as well as the ability to be able to cut into the earth without too much disturbance because, as you can see, start looking at the contour over here. There's quite a bit of a grade drop between what's on the site versus where Mass Ave is. So, right about here is about a 4 or 5 foot drop in elevation. So this location that we picked is generally where we thought the grade is starting to even out with the road so that we minimize the amount of cut that we do to the site gaining access. Coming up through the driveway access, we have, of course, the stream crossing at this location here. We're still working out the details for the stream crossing itself, but instead of a single pipe culvert that you see here, there's going to be a larger aluminum arch culvert for the crossing, so that we can try to maintain some sort of an openness ratio associated with it to meet stream crossing standard. Still working that detail out with the peer reviewer, but that is a minor change in the design.
So the peer reviewer, Bill Murray?
Yes.
From Places? Okay.
Bill and Sue, yes. So coming up on driveway, a relatively gentle slope. I believe we were looking at a general slope of about 6 to 7% coming up to where the leveled area is for the building itself. On the upper level here, we have the 8 units that we're proposing to build, as well as the associated parking spaces and stormwater conveyances, which will capture stormwater, provide detention through these underground pipes, as well as a sediment forebay and a wet basin to provide additional detention on the lower level here as well before discharging back into the wetland area. We have on-site, we'll have on-site well as well as on-site septic system. This is the general area that we're proposing for the on-site well. It may move a little bit just because we may need to provide a little bit more infiltration for places peer review comments, but we're still working that out at the moment. The on-site septic system is located over here. Whoops. Sorry about that, a little finicky. So just a simple septic tank, and it's just going to gravity into these two trenches over here with the reserve being located right there. Let's see. Also want to point out, because we met with personnel from the fire department, we had also developed vehicle turning using an aerial truck, about 47-foot long for the profile, and provided a turning analysis just showing that emergency vehicle will be able to do a full loop around the whole site.
So what is the inside turning radius and the outside turning radius for this truck? This isn't a truck that we own currently, but one that we might buy, right?
I'm not certain. To be honest, this is one that we found to be the largest. I think this is a Wayland truck. So we presented this truck to the staff, the town staff, and they said that that's roughly the length that they're looking at. So we use this profile for the turning. As far as the inner and outer, I'm not sure what you mean.
That's fine. We can move on from that. Just curious.
Okay. All right. So these are some general photos that I've taken standing at roughly where the center line of the proposed driveway going in. This is looking down Mass Ave, looking westbound. And then this is looking eastbound. This is Sarah's Way right over here. And this is just looking at it from across the street. And this is actually a picture of 881 Mass Ave. This is the general building aesthetics for the proposed building itself. Similar height, similar material. And similarly, the proposed building will be located at a similar distance from the road as 881. So this is a picture of 881. If you're standing on Mass Ave, just kind of looking in, you can kind of see like the amount of trees that is buffering the site in general. And this is just a quick exhibit table that we put together for site stopping distance. Just showing that, if you have a car and, you're just parked here waiting to get out, you can see clearly for about 500 feet westbound and 487 eastbound for oncoming traffic. So there's plenty of sight distance for where we're proposing to do the site access. And I think that's all I've got. I'm happy to answer any questions. board may have.
Yeah, so I'll start and we'll open it up to everyone else as well. So I was measuring, it looks like it's about 5% for the driveway slope. I think you said 7. I'm just thinking about, I noticed that you have a couple of handicap spaces, and I think public access from a public way, you need to stay at or below 5%, but I think you're pretty close to that. Of course, it could be a building that is not open to the public, in which case you wouldn't need that access from the right of way. And then I also noticed that the parking spaces, as marked on your grade plan, I think it looks like a 4% slope. And if they are to be handicapped spaces, they can't be more than 2% slope. So no big deal for us at the ZBA, but may want to make sure you review that before the contractor, if approved, if the contractor is building it, that he gets the correct pitch for the parking spaces. And then some of the steeper slopes appear to be around 30 or 35% slope. Does that sound right?
If you're talking about the 3-to-1 for the slope that's trying to tie back into existing grade, that would be correct. Yep.
Okay, so I saw you have some sort of biomat that you're going to put down to hold the hill while it gets vegetated.
Yep. In particular, this location here, as well as a little bit over here. These are North American green slope stabilization mat. So they're these coconut matting that does a very good job of stabilizing hillsides. And, as soon as you put down seeds, you put down a mat, it gives it time to grow so it doesn't erode away. They do a very good job.
Okay. And you have a conceptual elevation for the building in the application, as well as a floor plan of the first floor, but it looks like you have a mezzanine or something proposed. Is that right?
Let's see here. I think it does show up in the architectural plan, but I don't anticipate this being part of the final structure. The architectural plan was done, prior to us taking a closer look at the actual site and the general layout of things. So, you'll also notice that I think there's a discrepancy in the length of the floor plan. I can't remember which dimension. This is 104, and I want to say that this is 108. So
I see.
Yeah, a little bit of discrepancy.
I'm also just, I think you did provide a first floor plan, so I think, probably, including a mezzanine plan, because you're going to be building space up there apparently, the section view shows it. So it's something to maybe, provide a little bit more detail. We're not going to be looking at it like, as closely as the planning board will be scrutinizing it, I don't think. But it would be nice to have that. And then it looks like you're cutting about a 10 or 15 foot cut from the highest point. There's 2 peaks that you're going to be cutting, and then you're going to be filling, it looks like, also about 10 or 15 feet in front of the building. And do you anticipate earth removal as defined by our bylaw?
No, we do not. I think initial cut and fill analysis show that we're going to have a little bit of an excess of fill or material on site, but we're planning to use that material wherever we can. So, this area in particular that you see as a general carve out, there's plenty more room where we can put in this fill to kind of fill this area up a little bit more. So, there are certainly room on site to use that fill. So we do not anticipate doing earth removal.
Okay. And how can you show the back side of the lot as it abuts to the town land and just kind of describe what the grade relationship will be with the property owned by the town, because that is conservation land back there. I see you've got a slope that you're creating right up to the town property, and there's trails back there. So what would you anticipate people seeing walking around on the trails?
I'll have to take a closer look at that. Probably this Friday, actually. We have a site walk scheduled with Bill at Places, as well as our wetland scientists be on site this Friday. But one of the items that we're looking to pick up is the trees that are located on town's land that may project their the overhang over on site onto our site. If we find that there are a lot of trees that are abutting the stone wall, most likely what we'll have to do is actually provide some sort of a small landscaping wall to minimize the amount of cut that we're doing in this area. As far as the grade goes, you're right. There are two kind of twin peaks on the site, and the grade going into the town's land is actually sloping down towards the trail. So I don't imagine that anybody walking on the trail would be able to see that much of the site, just because we're doing so much cut on this side. And this general area is where the highest elevation would be. So if the trees that are on the town's land remain, it would act as a buffer so that you shouldn't be able to see at least too much into where the proposed building is. But I think what I'll do is, when I'm out there this Friday, I'll try to take some pictures of what it would look like from the trail, kind of looking in at the stone wall.
Okay, great. And no guardrail detail was provided, but the driveway is going to need guardrails on at least one side and probably both due to grade issues, at least partially on both sides. Is that correct, or am I mistaken on that?
I think we did provide a guardrail detail. Hang on a second. Yep. Right here.
Oh, I apologize. Okay.
Problem.
So you're doing pressure treated wood guardrail? Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So I think that you guys applied for a NOI and an ANRAD and a site plan approval and what else with the plan? A stormwater permit. Have you applied for all those permits?
All of those except for the NRAD.
Okay. Is that something that you would need to do before you get approval, or?
I believe the NOI would take care of the portion that would occur under the NRAD.
Okay. And none of those hearings have taken place yet?
No, we have the notice of intent meeting tomorrow, and the planning board meeting will be on the 16th.
Okay, so tomorrow CONSCOM and the 16th will be planning board. So we normally get a routing sheet sent to the various boards, and at their first available meeting, they provide comments to the special permit granting authority when it's the ZBA or the planning board. And we haven't had an opportunity for that yet. That may cause a delay if the board wants to wait for comments, advisory comments from those boards. I'm a little bit interested because there is a fairly significant impact. There's a wetlands crossing, wetlands replication, and I'm curious to see if the location that you've selected would satisfy the CONSCOM. They may want to move it. It could impact, what we would be able to otherwise approve. So I'm just letting you know in advance. I think Alec has also talked to you about that. And another comment that has really nothing to do with the application, which is a pretty comprehensive application. Just a general comment that, I feel that the town is moving away from corrugated steel Butler buildings in the 111 corridor, but we have not finalized any rules. In fact, we are just in the beginning stages of talking about it. But I can tell you from my personal feelings is that this building I would find appropriate as a corrugated steel building only because it is so far off the road and it is so obscured by the vegetation. So this doesn't have to do with your project, but just a general comment to town staff that, you know, and hopefully to our design review board and planning board, that we really do need some regulations if we want to try and develop the corridor in a way that would be more beneficial for the community. If that would still allow for, you know, other uses like a contractor's lot, but might, you know, visually enhance the downtown corridor. So that's all I've got. Is there any of the board members have any questions or comments? Than.
Did you look at, or is it possible to come in from the other lot that the owner owns? Did you guys look at coming across from that other building?
Great question.
Yes, we have. I think the main concern with crossing from the other side would be the fact that, you know, the owner is actually looking to sell the abutting property once this property has been constructed, which would make it a little bit awkward once it's not under the same ownership to have that sort of a shared access. I think secondly, because the nature of the use itself, you know, it's a rental units for 8 smaller businesses, it's going to be relatively tough. You know, trying to get access from our pathway, which we measured out to be about, you know, roughly 1,200, 1,300 feet long. A little bit tough to do. And the third item is that, you know, we have this vernal pool, this large vernal pool that we would be required to cross into the 50-foot no disturb in order to gain access to. Ideally, vernal pool is something that we'd like to stay away from, just for general wetland protection and regulation wise, we really don't want to mess with. Those are kind of all the factors that we thought about when we looked at the access.
Oh, that's a great answer as well. Thank you. So the property owner next door is the applicant for this property. So you said that he's intending to sell the other property. Is that predicated upon the development of this property?
That was what was described to me. I can't say for certain. I think that's his goal. I can't say for certain whether he'll go through with it. That's all I can say.
Understood. I mean, it's nothing is guaranteed. So
right.
Okay. There was one other thing that I noticed in the application that I'm just going to mention to the board, and that is the benefit to the community would be to create more building trade space in the town. And I did want to point out that his adjacent property has vacant spaces right now that are building trade, I believe. And there is also French Brothers that has building trade that they're trying to sell their property. They've already gotten site plan approval for on Codman Hill Road. And then Leo Bertolami's 10,000 square foot of building trade mall is also being sold, and that was never completely full. So I'm not saying that that would be something that would prevent this from being built, but I might suggest that it may not be the only benefit to the community that you might need to prove if it is found that we have an excessive amount of building trade shop already in existence. You may need to provide another sort of benefit to the community in order to satisfy special permit criteria. It's just a thought that I'm giving out to the board. The board will decide whether or not it's good enough or not. So, any other questions or comments, concerns from the board? Michael.
So I know from the planning, so there's a number of other hearings between planning board and especially CONSCOM. So I guess is the best path forward for this board to continue to the future and get more input once some of the other, especially CONSCOM hearings happen, to know that the site plan is going to be the site plan we're looking at, or just asking the board for its thoughts on this matter.
Michael, speaking as a member, I would agree that we maybe should wait and get advisory comments from the other. Continue the meeting, but that's just one man's opinion. But I see Alec's hand up. So Alec, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. My recommendation back to the board is to continue this public hearing. I would not recommend closing your public hearing until the other two had concluded, or at least until they have closed the hearing process and are drafting a decision. That way you can accommodate in your final approval process any revised plan sets that do come out of it. The applicant is already making great effort to respond to comments, as they noted, from peer review, both Sue Carter and Bill Murray. And so with those revisions expected, I would recommend continuing this at least into July, expecting we'll need at least all of June for the planning board and the CONSCOM to make their evaluations. And if still not ready, you can do a midpoint check-in later in July and then continue the hearing out one more time.
That would be my feeling as well, but you know, it's for all of us to decide. I would say that the grade plan is great. I think the application is, you know, was well submitted. It's just there are so many moving parts to this thing that could impact the final outcome that I think it's prudent to wait and get some of the other hearings accomplished, particularly CONSCOM, which is going to ultimately sort of control, you know, the final design and location of this building. So, any other thoughts from the board members? Any about what we just discussed? Is any concerns about continuing, or should we move forward? So I'm not hearing any other concerns about it. So would someone like to, Alec, if we were to continue the hearing, do you have a date and time that you would recommend? Oh, you're muted, Alec. Sorry.
Thank you. Let me just pull up the calendar so I can look at a quick comparison. Love to offset you with the planning board if possible. In an ideal world, I'd love to aim for the second Tuesday in July. That would allow you to get at least one, if not two, planning board meetings in before reopening this public hearing, as well as two conservation committee meetings, potentially a third conservation commission meeting. So that way there'd be ample opportunity for revisions and back and forth. That would specifically be Tuesday, July 15th. Did board members have availability that day?
How do you guys look? Does everybody have some availability if we were to continue this?
That's actually the third, because the first Tuesday is the first.
That's right. Good catch. So that would be
when I looked at it, I was like, I'm gone the 8th. And then you said the 15th. I'm like, all right, I can do that.
Yes. The third Tuesday in the month. How does that sound, everybody?
Works here. 15th or 8th is fine.
So it sounds like, Alex, so give me the motion again, and we'll see if someone wants to make it.
You would seek a motion to continue this public hearing until Tuesday, July 15th at 7:35 p.m.
So anyone who would like to make that motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved by Michael Toops, second by Than Stunts. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Sean McCormick,
McCormick, aye.
Dan Stunts, Stunts, aye, and
Stunts,
Michael
aye.
Toot. I'm a lip reader. I'm good with that. Michael Toot
Michael Tips, aye.
and Mark Barbadoro, aye. So thank you. That was a great application, and not trying to pick on your corrugated steel building, but I think it's appropriate given how far in the woods it is. But
No,
so,
I appreciate the heads up.
all right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everybody. I look forward to speaking to everybody again in July. Have a good night.
Have a good night. So I think before we go any further, and I apologize for not doing this in advance, I get a little keyed up when, we get into meeting time, but we have a new planner in town, and his name is Ian Gilson, and he comes very highly recommended, and he is, from what I hear, he's got a terrific resume, and he's going to be a very accomplished planner and a huge asset for this community. So Ian, say hello to this board.
Thank you for that very warm introduction, Mark. Yeah, hello guys. My name is Ian Gilson. I'm the new associate town planner. I started last Tuesday, and Alec has been a really great help for me over these first 2 weeks in making sure I'm staying busy and supporting the planning board, supporting the zoning board of appeals, and finding plenty of work for me to do in that time. So yeah, I come from UMass Boston. I spent my master's and my bachelor's there, so I have a background in environmental science as well as planning and community development, as well as plenty of work that I did for UMass Boston there as well. And I'm looking to bring my skills to Boxborough. I'm very happy to have landed in Boxborough. Reminds me a lot of home, is something that I talked a lot about in my interview process. I'm from Middleborough, Massachusetts, just an hour down the 495 loop south, and it's a very rural community as well, and it's a big reason why I was drawn to Boxborough. So again, thank you very much for the warm introduction, Mark. I look forward to working with all you guys in the future.
Well, you're rounding out a very competent team right now. So with Alec and Mary, I think this is going to be really great moving forward. And I have, for the board's consumption, we haven't sent it out yet, but because I was working on it today, but I went through our ZBA rules and regs. I added Sean's definition to the list of definitions, and I went through the tedious process of making sure that our section numbers now align, because we moved everything around, and so now all of it is in line. And we're down to the shorts. Oh, there's Mark. Hey, Mark.
I've been here the whole time. I just couldn't turn my video on.
Oh, okay. So basically, as I see it, we need a table of contents to help make it more user friendly, and we need to decide as a board what we need for document submittal. When we tell them fill out your application, we need to tell them what documents they need to provide in terms of quantities, right? Like full-size plans, how many rolls, and so forth. We need to get this thing proofed by everybody to make sure there aren't final revisions that need to be made. So everybody can look at that and kind of decide if there's things that they want to add. And then at that point, we can give it to Alec and Ian to do the final run through. And we also left a spot out to redo the application or revise the application, which I think we will still need to do. But I think we can approve the rules and regs once we get through the other processes and then work on an application. So I think I sent it to Alec only a few hours ago because I was literally working on it, after work today. But so he'll send out a copy to everybody, review it. The stuff that I changed today was in red, and the stuff that was changed in the prior meeting was in red. So you should be able to, look it over, somewhat quickly, and we can go forward from there. But does anybody want to take do anything with it tonight, or do you want to review it first, Sean?
Well, oh, so I was going to volunteer to generate the. I can like make a table of contents that is a table and automatically updates and all that stuff. If you want to send me a Word version, I'll volunteer to take on that role.
That'd be awesome. Okay. Do you guys want to run through it tonight, or should we look it over one time and then run through it at the next meeting? I'm kind of inclined to do that because you guys haven't seen it, and it's been a couple of months since we've actually opened a copy together.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, Mark.
Okay. And then the other thing is the last item on the agenda is to do the reorg. And I'm fine doing a reorg now, but I think we're going to have one or more members, new members on the board in another, I think in a matter of a few weeks when the select board hopefully appoint Thand as a regular member and we get other members involved. So if you'd like, we can wait to reorg until those people come on, or we can reorg right now.
Let's wait.
Agreed.
Okay, so that's what we'll do. And that's all I've got. Is there any new business, Alec, that you're aware of?
Nothing further to report. As previously discussed during the hearing process, your current application is also opening with the other boards and committees, the Conservation Commission starting tomorrow night, and then the Planning Board following that meeting. The Planning Board, or at least a couple members, have asked to provide feedback to the ZBA, and so as they go through their process, we'll collect their feedback, presumably in the form of a decision, and send it your way.
Okay. Does any of the board members have? Oh, you know what I didn't do, and remind me at the next meeting. I kind of screwed up with that last hearing. I missed a pretty crucial step, which is letting the interested parties speak. I did not even ask them. So at the next meeting, you guys please remind me, and anybody at this meeting right now who I didn't have speak, I apologize about that, and you will definitely be allowed to speak at the next hearing for the commercial property that's being proposed. And apologies for that. I moved too quickly. I was a little hasty. Michael.
Yes, I noticed there was an email that came in through the email system about a application for a special permit or something to that effect, I believe, for somebody that I'm in a butter to. So I didn't know if we've scheduled a meeting for that or where that's coming down the pike.
Alec, you want to take that?
To the best of my knowledge, admittedly, I'm not aware of any application in the queue. I'll have to double check with Mary when she returns to the office tomorrow, and we'll send out an update email with all the information about upcoming applications before the board.
Yeah, I saw what Michael was referring to as well. It did come in. Somebody is either seeking information about a special permit or applying for one.
Well, it sort of came through as an application, but it came in through the email app thing, and it did have a list of abutters attached to it. So I didn't know where that. It's in the mail app, though. I don't know if I guess only the board got it because it came through as addressed to the ZBA via the mail app or whatever it is on the website.
Yeah. Mr. Chairperson, if you could forward that along to me. Unfortunately, for this prospective applicant, that is not an acceptable form of submission. So we'll get in touch with them and give them instructions on how to file the application with the clerk's office.
Yeah, it doesn't. No clock starts until you send an application to the clerk and to the board, and we do have a process. But I think we'd still stay within the time frame anyway. But. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, we'll send that along. Any other new business? There's one new business. Mark White just got reelected as the planning board member, so congratulations on that, Mark.
Thanks.
And that's it for me. Anything else anybody wants to talk about? I'm hearing nothing. How about we move on with a very fast meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion by Mark, second by Michael Toops. Any discussion? Hearing none. Michael Toops.
Aye.
Sean McCormick.
Aye.
Mark White.
By the way, motions to adjourn are non-debatable. White eye.
Aye. Dan Stunt.
Stunts aye.
And Mark Barbadoro, aye.